Welcome to Soul Kids Online. Welcome to our 6th online session, and it's so good to see you here. My name's Rob, and it's so good to have you with us this week. Well, I wonder how your week has been. Have you had a good week? Have you had an okay week? Or have you had a not so okay week? Or have you had a bit of a mixture? Show me your thumbs now. Now, this week we've got some more leaders to see what they've been up to this week. Let's have a look.
Hi guys, I thought I'd show you what I've been up to the last few days. I've been busy painting in my backyard, so there's lots of things to do. You can see the house behind, and I'm going to show you what I've been up to. Lots and lots of painting and making things look much better. Now, this wall here might not look much, but I've painted all the way along there, made it white because it was really messy. I have painted my garden chairs and table over there, and at this side I've been painting a church pew. Remember we had church pews and we bought them? Well, I had one in my garden and it needed repainting, so I've done that, and the flowers are all growing nicely. I've painted my doors to my sheds, and what else have I done? And I've sorted out my water feature. And there's Jet, my dog, as usual, waiting to play with the ball. Let me pick the ball up and I'll throw it for her and see if we can get her running around. There we go. She loves the ball, always asking to play. So I hope you're having a good time. I hope you've managed to settle back into life after Easter. I hope you're safe and well, and I'm sure we'll see each other soon as this is all over. Bye.
Hello everyone. I hope you're all feeling well and enjoying doing your schoolwork at home, which is very different for lots of you. Today I'm going to tell you a really short story. This is something that happened to me just before Christmas. It was before the time when we had to stay in our houses. I was out one day on a beach, and it was down in Dorset, and there was nobody on this beach. It was completely deserted, completely empty. There was nobody about. It was quite a cold day, a little bit blowy, and I was walking on the beach, and there were thousands, well, millions and millions of pebbles. It wasn't a sandy beach. There were just lots of pebbles. And often when I'm walking, especially on a beach, I look around carefully to see if I can see any really beautiful stones or pebbles or pieces of driftwood, pieces of wood that have been worn smooth by the sea. I was just coming to the end of my walk, and I stopped for a moment and I looked down and I spotted something, and this is what I found. So on the beach, amongst all these pebbles that I told you about, there was this cross, and it made me wonder, how had it got there? Had it been washed up in the sea by the waves? Had somebody left it there? Maybe somebody had been perhaps there praying and just put it down on the pebbles for someone else to find. Perhaps someone had dropped it by mistake. I don't know how it got there, but it was very special, and I keep it now in my car, and it reminded me, seeing this cross reminded me that it reminded me all about Jesus, that he died for us to take away all the bad things that we've done in our lives, and remember that he came back to life on Easter Day, and so now he's alive forever. So I hope this cross will remind you of those things too.
Hey kids, what time is it?
Game time!
This week's game is called Exploding Fruit. I wonder if you can work out which fruit is going to explode.
It's time to play the Exploding Fruit game. Everybody stand up and get ready to choose your favorite fruit. For cantaloupe, stand on the left side of the room. For watermelon, stand in the middle. For honeydew, stand on the right. Choose wisely, because if your fruit explodes, you're out of the game! you chose watermelon, you are out. This time we have a pineapple, a coconut, and a watermelon. You know what to do. If you chose the pineapple, then you're out. And for the last round, we have a coconut, a cantaloupe, and a pineapple. Good luck! If you chose the coconut, I'm afraid you're out. Thanks for playing with us. Bye-bye.
This week's worship song is a song you're going to know. It's called My Lighthouse. Let's get off your sofa, let's get off your chairs, let's get up and go for it this week for My Lighthouse.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are my light, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore,
This week on Soul Kids, we've got another roller coaster life. And I wonder whether you've been enjoying the roller coasters we've been watching. And we've been looking at the story of Elijah. But first, let's see another crazy roller coaster and see whether you'll want to try this one. Here we go.
Hey everybody, it's me again, and I'm ready to take you for another ride on the roller coaster life. You remember last time when we started learning about the prophet Elijah. He went from the low of being a nobody to the high of being in the king's court giving him God's message. Next thing you know, he's running for his life and he's down by the brook with nothing to eat. But God takes him on another high by providing ravens to bring him food. He was on a roller coaster life. But today, you're going to learn how God provided for Elijah in a very cool way. I don't want to spoil the story for you, but I will tell you this. God does something that'll make your jaw drop. Faster than a giant hill on the X-Coaster. What's the X-Coaster, you ask? I'll show you. All right, this is it, the X-Coaster. Oh man, that was so intense. Well, it's time for you to get into your lesson today about how God provided for Elijah and how he'll always provide for you in your time of need. I'll see you next time on The Roller Coaster Life.
So this week, we continue with the story in the book of 1 Kings chapter 17 with a man named Elijah. And when we last left Elijah, he was in a pretty good spot. God had sent ravens to bring him food. Elijah had plenty of water to drink because he was beside the river. However, you might remember the warning that Elijah had given to King Ahab. He'd said, "It will not rain." Now, what happens when it doesn't rain? There's no water, and the river that Elijah was next to dries up. And that's exactly what happened to the river where Elijah was. Elijah was back on the roller coaster life. He went from being up on the high of being beside the flowing river to the low of being beside the dry riverbed. God spoke to Elijah and he said, "Go and live in the village of Zarephath. There is a widow there who will feed you." So Elijah traveled to the village of Zarephath. When he arrived, he saw a widow gathering sticks. Can you see her there? He asked her, "Can you bring me a cup of water and some bread to eat?" The woman said, "I don't have any bread, only a handful of flour left. I was about to cook my last meal, and then my son and I will die." Elijah said, "Make me a cake for me. Then make something for you and your son. God will provide." Can you imagine what the widow must have thought? Here she was about to make a small meal, her last meal for her son and herself. Now this prophet Elijah comes along and says, "Make me a cake first." She must have thought he was crazy. But the widow did just as Elijah had asked. She gave Elijah the cake to eat. Then she went back to the flour and the cooking oil containers. Do you know what she found? She found even more cooking oil and even more flour. She made a meal for herself and her son. Not only did she make one meal, but every time she went back to the flour and the cooking oil containers, there was even more flour, and cooking oil. God had provided a miracle, and God continued to provide all the flour and cooking oil she needed for herself and her son. How do you think the widow felt when Elijah asked her for her last food? Do you think she thought he was crazy? Do you think, does he know that this is my last bit of flour? But Elijah wanted to teach this lady something really important, which is what we're learning about today. You know, our power verse today says, and God will generously provide all you need. God will provide all we need. God will provide all we need. You know, Elijah learned to trust God. And so did this widow in today's story. God provided for Elijah, and God provided for the widow, and God will provide for you. God will provide for you. You know, as we come to pray today, I wonder what you need. Can you close your eyes, lift out your hands today like this, and just close and say, God, thank you for everything I have. Please will you provide for me. Please give me what I need today. Amen. And we'll see you next time on Soul Kids. Don't forget to send me pictures or videos for our next online session. I love seeing your videos. Keep sending them in. Let's do another exploding fruit game.
It's the Exploding Fruit Game, Liquid Edition. Now stand up and get ready to play. Choose your favorite. For orange soda, move to the left side of the room. For fruit punch, move to the middle. For apple juice, move to the right side of the room. But choose wisely, because if your fruit juice explodes, you're out of the game! If you chose orange soda, then you are out. This time around, we have tomato juice, a fruit smoothie, and fruit punch. You know what to do. If you chose the fruit smoothie, then you are out. For the last round, we have tomato juice, fruit punch, and orange juice. If you chose the tomato juice, then you are out. It looks like the fruit punch survived all 3 rounds. Well, we can take care of that now, can't we?
And I will see you next time on Soul Kids. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.